Streamer.
Not yet.
Oh shit, hold on, I'm gonna cut it off.
We don't live stream though.
Yeah,
We doing on live stream?
Shit is live right now, B.
Am I in the frame?
It's on.
We on one time.
Fuck, we do the fuck, we do the
Produced by your man.
Alright, well, let me get rid up.
Okay, let me get
What up? While everybody tuning in and shit, yo, can you just tweak that joint just a little bit, like just a little crooked, just check it, just a little bit, like just a little pause. But shit, yeah, we about to get this shit smacking, pause.
Yeah, boy. Heinekens.
Round table.
Man, shout out to everybody that's on Facebook Live right now in the motherfucking building with L Biz. You know what I mean? We got Roobxcube in the building. Yeah. We got motherfucking Boogie without the hoodie up to no goodie in the building. You know what I mean? We got Shaft Rock in the building. You know what time it is. Wade Jones and this motherfucker and shit. You know what I mean? And man, been a long time waiting for it shit. So now, you know what I mean? Here it is, man. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, happy to be here then, you know?
Hell yeah, thanks for having us, man.
No, real. Yeah. Once again, it's on. It's go time. It's your boy Wade Jones, the Round Table, the Round Motherfucking Table podcast. Sitting in the building with some very special guests. Well, I should say a very special guest, you know what I'm saying? In the building with L Biz. What's good, brother? Coolin', man.
Go time. Shout out to the Round Table podcast, man. Waverly Jones, man. I appreciate the look. Appreciate the opportunity to come out, you know what I mean, and sit down and chit chat with you guys. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. That's a fact. If you come to the round table, then you know what time it is. It's go time and shit. Also in the building, we got Roobxcube, you know what I'm saying, in the building. You know what I mean? And we gonna get into that. We gonna get into that brother and his situation in a second too, cause you know he get down too. You know what I mean? But shout outs to my brother Shaft Rock in the building, Flying Bricks in the Brick Boys Entertainment. Yeah. You know what I mean? Shout out to Speedy the Icon, motherfucking Shane Dude, K Mac, Stretch, motherfucking Jazzo, my bro. I always call him Jazzo. J-O-Z. I always call him Jazzo, but that's my bro. You know what I mean? Man, shout out to all y'all bros. You know, it's mad at y'all niggas and shit. I like Rugrats.
It really is a lot of them.
It's a new nigga every week, but it's all good. Shout out to all the Brick Boys, Flying Bricks Entertainment. You know what I mean? Shout out to my bro in the back. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucking Boogie.
Hey,
Boogie without the hoodie, baby. Up to no goodie and shit. You know what it is and shit.
We get back.
That's fine.
We get back. You know what I'm saying? But shit, you know what I mean? You know what time it is, man. It's motherfucking go time. Oh, before we even start, man, big shout outs to Rebel Radio 716.
Rebel Radio, what up?
Hell yeah.
And also my bro Piffy Trilliums, you know what I mean? SJ Live Online, that's that street journal. He probably be pulling up in a second, but you know, it's go time and shit, you know what I mean? So my bro L Biz, man, where was you born and raised, my G?
Man, I'm from the 716, born and raised, man. Buffalo, New York, east side of Buffalo. I grew up, I lived a little bit of everywhere in the city, so, you know what I'm saying, like, primarily in the downtown area, you know what I'm saying, from down the way, Town Gardens, TG's, Jefferson Avenue, Perry Projects, Willard Park and all that, you know what I'm saying, Trey One and all that, so, but then, you know what I'm saying, I moved uptown, so, I mean, I'm from all over the city, man. Buffalo, New York, 716, EErie County, baby, like, it's the whole situation, you know?
That's a fact. So coming up, you know what I mean, like, growing up and shit, you know what I mean, like, high school and shit. You play any sports or any instruments or anything? Are you going to performing arts or anything?
I went to Lafayette High School before it turned into an international school and stuff. So at the time, I mean, like Lafayette High School, as corny as it seems for people that know about Buffalo, it's like, oh, that's like a nerd school or something. It kind of was, but my primary reason was to go to play basketball. So I didn't really care. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
okay. They
wasn't really known for their sports teams. I was nice, but I didn't have to want to go to all the schools where all the homies went to. So I went to Lafayette, you know what I'm saying? And I played basketball there.
So you
played football there. Yeah, I ended up getting a scholarship to play football.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to play football no more, so I ended up staying local and playing basketball in college.
So you get boogie with the basketball, huh?
A little something, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm athletic. I don't look like it. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of them sleepers like Draymond Green or something. I don't play that bully ball, but. You know what I'm saying? I'm a finesse baller, but people, when they see me, they don't think that I can do that.
Oh, okay.
I get busy though.
So you play the small The shooting is small.
Yeah, the shooting guard, small forward type of thing.
I already keep the game. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I play the point in shooting, and sometimes I can play power. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna leapfrog your ass, nigga. Give me that rebound, nigga. What's up?
Like Boogie ain't having that. Boogie said I ain't having that.
Yeah, you can use your body. Because I'm going to use your body against you. When you throw all that weight, I'm going to dive right around and you're going to slip and I'm going to catch that ball. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely skill too.
I got long reach, so. But yeah, man, that's what's up. You know what I mean? So growing up, you know what I mean? And, I got 2 blunts here, swinging along. So, you know, coming up, growing up, you know, in the household, mom, dad, you know, however, what's some of the music that was being played around you, my dude?
Oh man, like my family is an extremely musical family. You know what I'm saying? Like from as young as I can remember, like my grandfather actually has, or he has, God rest his soul, but he has like one of the largest record collections in the state of New York. So much so to the point where like it was museums that was reaching out to him to buy pieces out of his collection, and he wouldn't sell it because he was like, yo, if I'm gonna give up anything, y'all gotta take the whole thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, and it was people was offering him like hundreds of thousands of dollars for all of the records he got. So it really started with my grandfather, rest in peace, Groundhog. You know what I'm saying? He played the trumpet when he was young. You know what I'm saying? My dad played the saxophone, the clarinet, the flute. He sang. My grandmother led the church choir and all that. I was in that. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like musical influences, man, Earth, Wind and Fire. You know what I mean? Jackie Robinson, Smokey Robinson. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like some, like just oldies, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like the Commodores. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Until I got into started to hang out with my older cousins and stuff. And my mom went to the military. She was in the reserves, and she came back. I was a shorty. She came back with a Beastie Boys tape, and that was like my first introduction into hip hop, into a piece of hip hop history that I could have for myself. It was the Beastie Boys' License to Ill. And I used to blast that shit. I got my ass whooped for listening to it, but she gave it to me, so it was great. Like I would take it to my uncle's house. And he was like, what the fuck did you listening to? What my ass for listening to it? But it was like shit. That shit with Paul Revere was my shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? So
crazy.
You know what I mean?
Shout out to my older cousin though. You know what I mean? My cousin Aaron. I ain't shout him on in a minute, but like that was one of the influences that put me on the music and hip hop. Right. But not only that, but house music. Right. Like I said, the Beastie Boys, the License to Ill. This motherfucker, I had to be like 10, 11 years old, this motherfucker came and tossed me the Chronic tape.
Oh man,
the
yo,
tape,
that's
like, listen
crazy.
to this. Like, I'm like, oh, okay.
That was the first CD. That's crazy.
Shit just started getting wavy. It was like one of the movies and shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, that was the first CD that I ever owned was the Chronic.
Wow.
Yeah,
See, we were talking
dope.
off camera. I said off camera, you know what I mean? The first CD I owned that I actually bought, from working hard or whatever, or hard working, was the Old Dirty Bastard, 36 Chambers. Yeah, man. You know, understand what I mean?
Another classic.
Yeah. And that was after the fact of the fucking getting hit with that motherfucking Chronic. I'm like, oh shit.
Right. It was so much good music happening at that time, man. And everything was so quality. You know what I mean? It took so much time to make it that everybody, from my vantage point, everybody had a space to be able to make it and make their music and then present it to the people and have a space to where it ain't so saturated to where they gotta fight for position, for the ear position, you know what I mean?
That's a fact.
Like Redman hit and it was Redman's time. Method Man hit and it was Method Man's time. The Chronic hit, it was the Chronic's time. Nobody was in each other's way. So you gotta digest it all. You know what I'm saying?
And it wasn't enough of the information out there. You know what I mean? How it is, like people say music is disposable now. You can make a song right now, it can be a hit for a week and then nobody gives a fuck about
Definitely
it.
It's a secret society.
You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying when we talk about all here. I said shit, back when the clue tape days, motherfuckers used to get that joint like, yo, yo, get some bud, nigga. We about to sit down, smoke, and listen to the Clue tape, nigga. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a ritual. Like, oh, I got a new joint. Oh shit, yeah, man. I'm about to call up cuz. We about to get together. We about to power out on this joint. Yeah, boys used to actually sit back and smoke and just fall deep into the lyric because you couldn't find it again. There was nowhere else to get it from.
And there's a lot of artists that you found on them joints too. Like I know, like my first time coming across Fab, Nori,
Shells,
Ja Rule, Shells. You know what I'm saying?
Sean P.
Sean P. was on Clue tapes. You know what I'm saying? So like you know what I'm saying? Like I was familiar with like Helter Skelter and Boot Camp Click as a collective, but to hear Sean P. by himself on a Clue tape, it was like, oh, this is different. You know what I'm saying? So
I gotta say one thing too. Man, rest in peace to Stack Bundles. Yeah. That was one that I definitely found.
My roommate loves Stack Bundles.
Man, Stack Bundles, Max B, man, free to Max, man, free to Wave, you know what I'm saying? Right. But man, that shit was, Clue tapes was definitely the ones and shit.
For sure.
So, how old was you about when you first, start writing rhymes or, first really got
I think I wrote my first rhyme when I was about, I started late. I was probably like 14, 15. You know what I'm saying? Like just on some, like I had a tape deck. I had like a CD player tape deck like in my room, and my dad used to DJ. You know what I'm saying? Like he used to DJ all my party stuff. So yeah, like this old school like microphone and shit. And I don't know why. Don't even ask me why I had Case Touch Me, Tease Me single on a cassette. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I have no idea why that was in my stash, right? But it had the instrumental on the joint, you know what I'm saying? And Foxy Brown was rapping on it. So I played, you know what I'm saying, flip the tape, play the joint, and I just so happened to take the microphone, you know what I'm saying? Or matter of fact, it was like headphones at the time. He had the mic, it wouldn't work. The headphones, I plugged the headphones into the mic jack. And I figured out that I could record on the headphone piece.
You know what's so funny about that story?
You could use that while you're
You know what's so funny about that story though? Like I ain't even finish it off when I said that I got the first ODB joint. So I ain't even go front. I bought the TLC waterphone.
Okay, I feel better. Thank you.
The single.
Thank you for helping me.
But it had the single. It had the edited version, the explicit version, and the instrumental. And I bought it for the instrumental. Because that's all I could find as an instrumental back in the times.
The Cleave instrumental is one of the best fucking beats
ever. Yo, but that's what I'm saying. Like the Touch Me, Tease Me song, it's corny. The idea of me rapping to it is corny. But the instrumental was so hard. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, I flipped that joint over and I like, and the irony of it is like me singing and rapping now, it's like I wrote an R&B song to it, but I rapped the verse on it. So, and it was just messing around, you know what I mean? So I figured out that headphone could record my vocals, and I made me a little joint to listen to, you know what I'm saying? I ain't let nobody else hear it.
That's what I'm saying.
But
like,
it was for me, you know what I mean?
My shit is like, I just needed something to rap over. I didn't have no beats or nothing to just free flow over. I hated trying to rap over niggas while they rap. I still hate that shit. Like whoever can do that shit is dope for you, but I can't do that shit. I'd rather let you just spit and then I'ma just go. But I can't rap over another nigga rapping. Or like if Jay-Z came out with, the Blueprint 2 song or whatever, I can't rap over that shit while he rapping.
Just to get your shit
on. It just don't work. Now that little snippet at the end, I'm trying to body that real quick.
Get that eight tail on the tail in the instrumental. I feel you. Yeah, I wasn't even really trying to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't looking to be a writer or nothing at the time. I was just in high school playing sports and stuff, getting my stuff. I wanted to go to the NBA. You know what I'm saying? But it just like I was always into music, and because my family was so into music, it was just a natural thing for me to like. But it ended up being me just I always just wanted to see it happen. I was always fascinated with the fact that somebody could take some sound equipment, whatever, a microphone or whatever, and turn it into a cassette tape or into a CD. And I used to always be fascinated about how that stuff happens.
How it even works.
Like I would just love to be in the studio when this happened, just to see all of the ins and outs of it, the person that's working in there and the person in the booth on the microphone, the producer. I wanted to see it. I didn't have access at the time. So it was just like, hey, let me try this and see what it sounded like. And I'm like, man, this joint was kind of hot. Like, you know what I mean? I ain't played for nobody, so I let that one die with me.
Hey man, it's all right though. Like I said, in previous episodes, I always talk about my first personal recording and shit I did. I made a song called Mortal Fighters. It's when Sega Genesis came out. The first Mortal Kombat.
That's crazy.
This how I'm a kid. This how I'm thinking though. You know what I'm saying? This how I'm thinking. This is around the Old Dirty Bastard CD and all that shit. Yeah. So I get to going into the options. Now at the same time, my sister got the karaoke machine with the two mics. Record, tape on one side and then play on the other side. So I'm like, alright, fuck it. I get to go into the options. I hear the sound effects. You know how you scroll through sound effects. Round one, fight. Then I got the music from off this shit. So my little smart ass, I fucking recorded this shit on the one tape, and somehow I played it I recorded it on one tape and then played it on the playback tape that had to record on the other tape. So I had the music, the sound effects, everything. And just long story short, I blended the whole two together. I had my head. I wrote the shit down on some long ass white paper. I wish I could have that right now. That shit, I'll post that shit if I found that shit right now. It was that paper that you gotta rip the sides off. The circles off. That's how old it was. This what I'm talking about. This is I can remember this shit. That's my first Mortal fight. Well,
Yo, you probably the first person on planet Earth that admitted to jacking a beat from Mortal Kombat. Like
the whole beat.
Like probably the first just take the whole track.
As a kid, I'm probably like 12 years old. My shit started off like round one, fight. All that shit, like it was.
It was like 12 beat sounds and like 12-bit sounds.
It was disgusting.
16-bit sounds.
I'm rapping over the Mortal Kombat beats. Like I really wrote to the Mortal Kombat beat.
Like good money, bro.
Like -8 bass.
We have Mortal Kombat 1 right now. I can pull it up and I can show you what the fuck I did right now.
You a beast for that.
But you know what I mean? Ain't about me, man. It's about you, about L Biz and shit. You know what I mean? And yeah. Somebody at the door, grab the door, please. But you know what I mean? It's about L Biz, man. Shout out to everybody on Facebook tuning in and shit. You know what I mean? But shout out to my bro L Biz for coming through. You know what I mean? Roobxcube also for joining in, stopping in. You know what I mean? Definitely gonna kick it with you, my bro. Boogie in the back with the hoodie, up to no goodie. Yeah. It's a tongue twister. You can't say it twice.
But you can't do it five times fast.
But you know what I mean? Shout out to Shad Black, you know what I mean? And shit, Shad Rock. And shit, we gonna get right back into this shit after this motherfucker. You dig? It's the Round Table, the Round Motherfucking Table podcast. And like I said, this your boy Wake Jones. And we in this bitch and it's go time.
Go.
Yo. You come in here looking like a rapper?
Oh, man.
Like you would.
Yeah, my brother, man. All day.
My fault, y'all. Apologize.
Blessings.
God.
Gucci man.
Still on the high, baby.
Movie, boy.
Yeah, hell yeah. Still on the high, bro.
You go sit on this side or, you want to be the camera view.
Yeah, boy.
I ain't missed too much, right?
This is the first set. You know how we go. This is the first set. You know how my first set go. Fuck.
You got another rap? I ain't gonna take it to the store or nothing.
Yeah, I got raps. Yeah, we still live on Facebook though. Shout out to everybody on Facebook and shit. You know what I mean? Tuning in Rebel Radio 716. Shout out to motherfucking J Ruckus, Dave Mo. You know what I mean? D-Bug, everybody over there, motherfucking Prime. You know what I mean? Big shout out to Optimus Prime, man.
What up, Prime? Congratulations on the baby.
Prime.
Word.
Big shout out to Prime, you know what I mean?
Baby Prime.
Just take the Patriots onesie off, bro.
See, you got
it's all love, though. That's my guy.
Shout out to the first.
Shout out.
Shout out DJ
Shout out DJ Slice. Shout out Blue.
Shout out,
Slice.
man. Shout out to The Rock, man. The Rock held it down, man. They showed mad love and shit. We was just out there, you know, over the weekend.
Stand up.
I mean, everybody out there, Chaos, motherfucker, Chaos Fortune.
You get busy.
I mean, my bro, Traveezy, you know what I'm saying? My bro, ID Rich. Yeah, I think this boy fucking my glass a little bit. This shit feel a little crazy on my face. But anyway, shit get crazy. My son, you know, this nigga think he me. But anyway, you know what I mean? Shout out to everybody, man. That nigga's yo, I'm telling you, man.
Just like Wayne.
Hell yeah, but shit, you know, we gonna get back into it, you know? Like, we never left. Oh, you need that. What you do? The game with the switcher.
Damn, you know, I'm fucking none of that shit.
Yeah, you should just go backies.
Backies can't be choosers, right?
Backies over here.
I gotta put the stick.
When you're Roman,
Yeah. Fuck
be Roman.
That's some I ain't
Fucking Roman, bro.
Well, like that.
Leaves can be right.
Oh shit, you know the fucking friends that nigga you ain't gonna
Oh, he's doing right here, my bro.
Might as well before we get started. Anybody got it?
I got it. I'm good. I might sit on the other side. I'm busy smoking.
You straight, bro?
Man, you in this
I ain't gonna
house.
smoke. I don't mind.
Unfortunately, in this house, nigga, you gotta endure what it do.
Yeah, no, you good.
I can open the window, but I ain't. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, the window is open in this
Nah,
bitch.
bro.
And I ain't even trying to have that fire.
I done been in a hot box.
Shout out. Yo, we still on the live?
Yeah, pretty
Yo,
sure.
shout out to them.
My man.
Yo, facts of life. The best video shoot I went to. He came and passed out the cones like, yo, shout out to y'all, man. Y'all told shit up last night, man.
B heads, the B heads,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Make sure y'all follow the B heads at the B heads on IG, man. That's my man Roobxcube, like that. You know what I'm saying? We get busy on them films. Yo,
I already saw some of the footage.
Yo, man,
A movie.
The slow-mo
A movie.
Wait till you see the slow.
I can't wait. It's coming soon, though. It's coming real soon. We got some plans for that. I ain't, I've been working, bro. I'll tell you about it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of
Busy, stay busy.
Yeah, I do that. My name is L Biz. I staybusy.com, baby.
Yeah. Once again, it's on. It's go time. It's your boy Wade Jones, the Round Table, the Round Motherfucking Table podcast. Sitting in the building with a bunch of very special guests. You know what I'm saying? But we here today, you know what I mean, celebrating L Biz. You know what I'm saying? In the building. Motherfucking my G, man. Like I said, man, once again, appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming through. Like I said, we got some similar ties down the line too. We was kicking it before over at Rebel Radio. Shout out to Rebel Radio 716. You know what I mean? That's where you can also catch the Round Table podcast every Monday and Wednesdays at 11 p.m. on the Round Table. I mean, on Rebel Radio, because it's the same shit down there. You know what I'm saying? Because we partners, we brothers and shit. You know what I mean? Like I said, shout out to my bros. But every Monday and Wednesdays at 11 p.m., you know what I mean? Rebel Radio 716.com, or you could download the app Rebel Radio 716. You know what I mean? Check me out, man. You know what I mean? Because this episode definitely gonna be on there. You're gonna definitely get the full version. Because everybody on Facebook right now that's tuning in, and wherever else they tuning in, they ain't gonna get all this until you go on Rebel, or unless you go on that motherfucking official.
Download the app,
Yeah,
man.
download the app. Love, like, share. You know what I mean? Like I said, we got motherfucking Shaft Rock in the back. You know what I mean? We got motherfucking Roobxcube in the building. Motherfucking A Boogie without the hoodie up to no goodie. You know what I'm saying? We got my brother stepped in the building. SJ Live online. You know what I'm saying? You already know what time it is when he pull up in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? It's GOAT time. My nigga motherfucker Piffy Trilliums in the building, man. My brother, you know what I'm saying? And shit. We ain't stopped nothing but a dime, nigga. Yo, let's back to it. But yeah, so we left off talking about how old you was when you first started writing and everything. So when was the first time you got into the lab? You know what I mean? Either official lab or we all started from the bootleg. You said you started off from the
from the headphone. That was my first.
When you got to the lab.
When I first, it's a crazy story. Like when I first got connected to anybody that had any kind of recording, anything for real. My cousin's daughter passed away from SIDS. And you know what I'm saying, she was
Rest in
infinite, you know what I'm
heaven,
saying?
man. Rest in heaven. Rest in
So
paradise, man.
I ended up linking back up with him, going to her funeral. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know that he was doing anything like that. We just so happened to go back to his crib for the repast, and he was camped out in you know, in his little studio area on the second floor of his house. I hadn't even never been. When I went up, I'm just looking like, yo, this is crazy. Like, you got a whole studio over here. He's like, yeah, man, I've been doing it for a couple years. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I always wanted to see this. Like I was saying before, I always wanted to see it. So, you know what I'm saying? God has a very funny way of bringing people together. Or I would say not funny, but divine way of bringing people together that's supposed to be together. You know what I'm saying? Like,
1,000.
he was gone for a long time in the military. So
with this relationship right here,
exactly,
man,
you know what I'm saying?
And before you even go on, man, shout out to the bro, man, G4 Jag. You know what I'm saying?
Shit.
Shout out to the fucking
Fly family,
man. Salute, man. Y'all see what it is right here, man.
Yeah.
It's EErie County, and we definitely gonna get into that shit too. You know what I mean? Y'all see what it is. You know what I'm saying? But go continue on, my brother.
No, I'm just saying, like, he, you know, the fact that he had been gone, we hadn't seen each other so long because he was in the military. So the fact that for him to come back and me to be able to see that, and then I would say maybe fast forward about, like, not even that day, you know, he was playing some beats that he made on the MTV Music Generator, because that was a thing back then. You know what I'm saying?
It was crazy.
You know what I mean? Like,
everybody
I had my
one
turn.
beat on that
Right.
shit. I had a beat on that shit.
Anybody made a beat on that.
Yeah.
Facts. So he was playing a couple beats and stuff, and I'm like, man, yo, that's dope. How you making that? Like, show me how to do it. And he was showing me, and he played a couple beats that he did, and I was kind of just, you know, like mimic singing around, like just messing around with some melodies and stuff. He's like, yo, you sing? I'm like, yeah. He was like, yo, take these, write some songs. I'll see you in a week. And I'm like, Now, mind you, this is probably about 3 or 4 years after I did, you know what I'm saying, or not that long, maybe about 2 years after I did the first little thing at the crib. So I'm like, yo, the pressure's on. You know what I mean? 2 days before it was time to go back to his house, I'm like, I ain't got nothing. So let me hurry up and write something. You know what I'm saying? And after that, man, it was the rest is history. That was like back in 2001.
Whoa.
So you went in the little booth.
Yeah,
and
we
got
had.
busy.
He had. It was like two bedrooms. It was a small one that was the control room, and then a big one that was the recording booth, and which doubled as, you know what I'm saying, the baby's room. You know what I'm saying? So we go in there. It was in the computer times, but he was still doing everything analog and recording stuff on cassette tapes and all that. You know what I'm saying? So we had to do 1-2 takes. Yeah. I'm in there singing a full song all the way through, because it ain't no real breaks and stuff. Like, it was crazy.
You gotta get
like,
this shit perfect, right?
It was crazy. Like, I'm like, it was, yo, when I think about it, I'm like wondering why the hell was we recording on a cassette tape when we could have just had a computer. But it's like he was the OG, so he came from that era of, like, you know what I'm saying, ADATs and all of that stuff, the reels and stuff like that, to where he was used to working that type of stuff. Right. So it wasn't nothing for him to do. You know what I mean? So that was it, man. Like, that was around 2001, my first time cutting a record, and rest is history. You know what I'm saying? I've been going ever since.
So, you know what I mean? Like I said, we got, you know, like 6 degrees of separation in this sense. You know what I mean? And shout outs to the boy Thuggy. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Sensei Thuggy.
Man,
Sensei Thuggy, that's what I call him. I call him Miyagi.
You know what I'm saying? What up, bro?
What
you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I mean? Back then, I used to go to, you know, Seneca and shit.
Right,
so I used to always be on Chelsea. Like, that's the fam. Chelsea block. Shout out to my cousin, man, Shawnee, you know what I'm saying? And everybody be over there, you know what I mean? I gotta say too many names, but shout out everybody over there. But that's the 6 degrees of separation, because you used to be over there fucking, you know what I mean? Not fucking with, but, you know what I'm saying, making music and everything. So how you know what I mean? How did you get introduced, or what's the connection with Thuggy?
Well, that's it went
Thugsman,
from,
I should say.
Thugsman, it went from working with my cousin and not really wanting to play the background to all the people that he was working with, to saying, yo, I'm gonna do this on my own, but I need some people. So this dude that I was working with, shout out to my man Marquis, he cut hair at Signature Barbershop right now.
Shout out.
And we worked at the rental spot together at like Rental Center or something. He heard me writing and stuff. He's like, yo, I want to do something. So fast forward, we ended up linking up. I ended up kind of A&R'ing my first project, which was a mixtape with all of them. I ended up bumping into G4 Jag at the time. And, you know, everybody, it was a success from my view. they ended up linking up. Marquis ended up linking up with Dougie. Passed me a CD with some beats on it while we was in the whip. Like, yo, these joints hard. I was with Jag. He like, yo, we gotta get in contact with him. The number was on the disc. Like, this was back when dudes would record their voice over the beats. Like, yo, if you want hot beats, holler at, call me at 716, da 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 da. So he like, yo, we need to call him. And I'm like, you sure, bro? Like, I don't just be rolling up on strangers like this. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, nah, I don't care. Like, you know, Jag from Harlem, he a Virgo or he a Gemini. So he like, man, and it was nighttime. You know how Jag is at night. So he like, man, I don't know. We gonna call him right now. Yeah,
shout out to my bro back in the back, Mac Million, man. What up, man?
But we called him up. He picked up the phone. Yo, come through. You know what I'm saying? He was that humble. He was, you know what I'm saying? And so we went. You know what I'm saying? We went. He was on. I want to say he was on Highgate at the time, and we went to his spot. Kicked it for a minute. He heard some of the work that we did, and was like, man, like I got a beat. What y'all want to do with it? I wrote a hook to it. Jag wrote a verse to it. He wrote a verse to it. We recorded a record the first time we met the man. You know what I'm saying? And again, the rest is history. Like I've been knowing this man ever since. So it's like it's just like that. When you willing to shoot your shot and take your chances, man, you just never know. It's like
so
that.
Let me ask you to bring it back. What it's called, Put.
Oh no, it's good.
Oh, this shit. Go.
He sent it me. He sent it me.
Oh. Well, anyways,
This
you know
round
what I mean?
table, right?
Yeah, it's the round table shit, man.
It goes around.
No, round table get lit, baby.
Smoke this motherfucker out. I ain't here yet.
Shit, you know what I mean? But so anyways, you know what I mean? Like, so that's just the point of you really recording, or like,
well,
like that was the point of you meeting with Thug and y'all recording. I mean, cause like I'm trying to grasp a kind of short time frame of when you got really busy.
When I got super busy was that was when it really started.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like him, Thugs, my man Marquis, his brother Good Riddance, and Scripts, who, you know what I'm saying, some people would know Young Scripts from URL battles and battle rappers and stuff.
It was crazy. Yeah.
They off of the strength of out of the first project that I did with my cousin is where I met Marquis, Riddance, and Scripts. Scripts being a battle rapper. They formed a group right after that. They was brothers. Riddance wasn't writing at that time, or he wasn't rapping at the time, so they formed a group. Marquis ended up moving in. Him and Thugsman ended up moving in together and being roommates. And from there, I would just go. They was always recording. Thugs was making beats. It was always recording something. So I would just go, and that was kind of like my studio training. To sit back and watch everybody working, whether it be writing or producing and recording. It all happened throughout their times living together, because they was my mans and they was linked to him. So it was just like, yo, come through. And it was like a big old rap house. Like, it was crazy. Like, it was a bunch of rappers and producers all in the crib. You know, they had their chicks coming through. I can't say that I had no chicks coming through. I might have had some chicks coming through. Like, I can't. You know what? I did have some chicks coming through. I can't even lie. I can't lie. I did. I was a dirtbag. I'm not a dirtbag anymore. But you know what I'm saying? It was that, and that's how it happened, man. That's really how it happened. So me watching him between still working with my cousin over here on the analog stuff, and watching him on the computer stuff and all of the updated dope stuff. And then him referring me to DJ Shay and being able to work with Benny, and I just had my hands on so many different things, working with so many different talents, to where I picked it up myself, and to the point now where it's like, man, I can cut my own records on my own if I need to.
Yeah, we about to get right into that in a second too. But you know, I just wanted to explore, just pick your mind, pause, you know what I'm saying, for some shit. You know what I mean? Like, so, when was the first time you ever performed? How you, like, what was that platform like? The
first time I ever performed was at the show when we released our first mixtape. It was called The Coalition. And that was at, I want to say it was on Main Street. Like, I don't even remember the name of the club. But it was like, it's an old joint where like Downtown Records used to be at. It's across street from the Metropolitan.
Hold on.
See, like,
I gotta show my age and shit. You know what I'm saying? Was it the Palace?
It was the Palace.
Come on, man.
Yo, it was the the Palace. That was the first time I ever performed. That was
Shout out
crazy.
to Chris and them boys. They used to have that joint, man. Yo, we was the first young boy. We was 18, 19. Spade Hustles, my bro. What up?
Wow.
You know what I mean? We was the first young boys in there popping bottles of Mo at 19 years old, walking through, no security checking us. We up right out the joint.
Oh, that's
We
good.
got bottles and shit.
That's
And everybody else drinking Huggies and Juicy Juice, nigga. We was out there getting lit. Shout outs to Chris, man. You know
That's
what I'm
fine.
saying?
Yeah, that was my first performance though at the Palace. That's crazy, man. It's been a minute.
Back, man.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's dope. Damn. So from that point on, you know what I mean, what's some other platforms you done been on, you know, some stages, you know?
Man, I've performed at this 50 mics and 50 mics in Boston, 50 mics in Atlanta. I've done some stuff here, obviously here, you know what I'm saying? I did some stuff in Niagara Falls, the Town Ballroom, you know what I'm saying? Like the H Loft in Harlem, you know what I mean? Man, I just performed on a yacht for Canada Day a few months, you know what I'm saying? In July.
What the fuck was that like?
It was crazy.
What the fuck? Hold on.
Nigga don't just say that.
Yeah.
Any nonchalantly, I was on the yacht.
Getting busy, man. It was insane, man. It was like a 3-level joint. You know what I'm saying? And each promoter had their own level. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to
some rich nigga shit, right?
Yeah. Shout out to my man Fresh Kills out in Toronto.
Shout out.
He's like an extremely dope producer, and he's actually a Juno nominated producer, which is like Canadian Grammys and all that. You know what I'm saying? But like he posted it up. You know what I'm saying? I follow everything that he do, so he posted it up and was like, yo, my people looking for performers. So I reached out to the promoter and got the opportunity, and I tore it down. Like it was 3 levels of party and performance, and like my section was the littest. Like when it came time for me to do my thing, I definitely did it to the point where we going back. You know what I'm saying? We got a performance opportunity out in Windsor, Ontario, come November. So we going back to Canada. You know what I'm saying? We building a brand out there too. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Canada.
It was crazy. It was definitely performing on a yacht is something different. Like you gotta have your sea legs right because the boat be shaking a little bit.
I don't even been on one boat. I could swim, but nigga, I only been on I think 1 or 2 boats, but yeah, that shit ain't.
It was wild. Some nigga jumped on my back while I was performing and all that. Like it was crazy. Like, I'm like, I was bopping, taking my shit off. He was so hyped though. He just jumped on my back, and I was like, all right, you up there? I got you. We good. Let's get it.
Don't fall in the water, nigga.
Yeah, no, he was good. He was good. We was in the center, so it wasn't no problems with that. But it was just the level of appreciation for the art is different. You know what I'm saying? In different countries, even though you know Canada is so close to us. I think to myself a lot of times, like, well, Canada ain't nowhere near close to Texas. So it's like this is a foreign opportunity for people like that's so far away. So, you know what I mean? We take advantage of it and treat it like it's brand new.
And when you become of stature and upper echelon of artists, you can't be afraid of the people. You gotta let the people touch you. You gotta be around and pound these niggas up and you know what I mean? All that shit, like, cause that's what they want to see. That's what they need. You know what I mean?
That's where we win, though. That's where we win. You know what I'm saying?
That's the real riches because you know what? Out of all the motherfucking money in the world and shit, like I always say, we could be all multi-billionaires right now. But when we die, if a motherfucker ain't know that you did that shit off of fucking YouTube or however the fuck you did it, you just died, nigga. Nobody knew you actually. Like however you got your multi-billions, I can say like that.
Like Marlon Stanfield
just
said,
nobody. You died and nobody. Nah, when you die, you wanna have that legacy like Biggie, like Tupac. These niggas died at 24. They would have been 40 something right now. We still every single day, each and every one of us hear at least one or two Pop or Biggie songs on the radio or however. You gonna hear them niggas.
Your name is your name, man.
Your name is your name. Michael Jackson.
It's about that impact you have.
Michael Jackson. Yo, that's standpoint.
Got that impact.
You know what I'm saying? Leave your mark.
Yeah, just don't do no Takashi dumb shit and try to
get
your impact off of that.
You think he coming back? That's
I mean, like, hey, listen, you can impact up or down. Like, don't go down. You know what I'm saying? Impact up. Like, let's build, not destroy. You know what I'm saying?
Man, we either respected Tekashi more if he'd have sucked the dick. Pause. You know what I mean? If he'd have sucked the dick, he'd have been like, alright, Tekashi, you still cool. You had rainbow hair, we accept it.
I'm not surprised.
You know what I mean? But you ratting all the way out?
I'm not even shocked that he ratted.
He telling
I'm not either.
He telling on niggas that ain't even got nothing to do with
Yeah.
what's going on. Like,
That's I ain't never seen no.
Like, I wasn't heavy enough. It's like, we got to do some more
We got to do something.
and my mom,
So
she
it's
been
shit.
shit. They like, yo, my mom was
Watch
shit. Like,
this,
damn, bro, you going crazy.
Better watch
Like,
it
what's
now.
up with Cardi B now? Like, give us something.
She said I'm a blah blah. I'm not Trey 9. It's
Right.
Like,
Like, who's Jim Jones?
This
Like, what is that?
So
What is
desperate.
that?
She still
This
implicated
motherfucker's so
herself.
desperate. He just naming any video. Yo, look, if you go back to this video, this motherfucker throwing up Trey Way. You go this video, and niggas throwing.
Right.
Listen, I promise.
But they was talking about he was showing them the
Fizz got work for
handshakes
the
and
next
all.
25
Like,
years
he did
now.
everything. He
Good.
violated to the fullest.
Listen, he
Then
was
he talked about him when they go on witness
Right.
protection.
So
It's
you
a
must
very
wanna
high-
die.
It's a
You
death
wanna
row.
die.
So
Very
it's
high
no way.
profile
I
case.
want
No
to
way.
die, or you would
You
have
might as
died.
well say, yo, I'm gonna off myself before I get out.
I want to die,
Right.
free man.
Nah.
No,
That's why that's
it's inevitable. Like,
Yeah,
that's why we
make it
He's
out
gonna
of
be
there.
the next Bruce Willis.
Is he gonna make it out of there?
if you
That
live
nigga
for
gonna be
more
a
than
Hollywood.
one
He gonna go off to Hollywood.
Well, listen,
He gonna be cool.
But listen. So I listened to the one Drink Champs earlier, the podcast with Troy Ave. Troy Ave was saying that this motherfucker could come out.
No.
And
Because he
and make
did
them
what he
believe
did, so he thinking he condoning the bullshit.
Right.
And yo, shout out to Nori and Drink said that's like, you know,
right. Definitely
inspiration
shout out
all
to
the
Nori
way.
and
But he should have checked that because Nori an
Hold
OG,
on,
man.
man.
He's supposed to say something, like he's supposed to check that.
Shout out to Noriega and Drink Champs. Shout out to EFN and Drink Champs. You know what I mean? They fuck with us. Definitely, we always be getting some good likes and good texts from the niggas, man. Shout out to them. But you know, and I fuck with Troy, but goddamn, that shit was a little.
It's you know like
That shit was all.
To each his
That
own.
shit was that shit was all like spacey, baby.
I wasn't there. I don't know.
Yeah,
So you know what I mean. It's just we just focus on
Right, we spoken on L Biz tonight.
the
We
Buffalo
on here,
movement,
right,
716.
We here on this
County.
Erie County shit, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? This Erie County shit. We might have to take a pause for the call. Actually, you know what? We got a few more minutes and shit, you know what I mean, before we take another, quick break. But you know what I mean? Like I said, shout out to everybody out there tuning in. But man, L Biz, you know what I mean? This, this rap game is a crazy game, man. We playing in and shit, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And it take a lot to get where we at right now. So when you came up, you know what I mean, after you hit the studios and shit and you performed your first spot, you know what I mean, you dropped the mixtape or you dropped the album. How, you know what I mean, how did you go about
Well, I went the mixtape route. I was, you know what I'm saying, in that era where the mixtape was a big thing. It was a big deal. And you know what I'm saying, it went from, again, me working the backgrounds and, you know what I'm saying, doing stuff in the background for artists that, you know what I'm saying, I started to get the opportunity to rap. You know what I'm saying? I was working with such dope MCs at the time, you know what I'm saying, between Thugsman and G4 and Scripps, that it was only right for me to kind of hone my skills. So I learned how to do the engineering stuff while still being able to work with dope MCs. Right. So I learned how to be a dope MC myself. Even though I was doing it already, just on the side, I still got the chance to sharpen my sword with people that was light years ahead of me. That's how I felt at the time. But you know what I'm saying? It all started. I Get Busy Volume 1. You know what I'm saying? That was the first mixtape that I did. I did now mind you, I'm learning how to record, learning how to do mixing and all this stuff. So I literally, my first project, I recorded the entire project myself. In Thugsman's basement, on Amherst, in the projects.
Damn.
Myself.
See, you had more of an advantage than most of us. Cause
That's a fact.
I got the fucking. You remember back in AOL days and shit? You
Yeah.
used the little mic stand with the little mic on it? Yeah, that was me. Yeah, on the laptop,
It was, it was me going from working with my cousin XM and being able to kind of see, like, yo, this is what a professional mic look like. We working with soundboards. That was my first opportunity to ever get in the studio. Granted, we was recording on tapes, but everything else was like super professional. So me going from that to the digital wave with Thugs, it was like it was way easier for me to figure it out to the point where I told him, I went back to him like, bruh, like what is we doing? Why are we still working on this? We need the computer, we need his programs. This is what he working on. Boom. So when I couldn't get the Thugs, then I would go to my cousin and I would just bounce back and forth to the point where by the time it was time for me, when I had the confidence enough, because I consider that time frame, those years, my artist development years.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Which it ain't really in the game no more, but I developed as an artist working with all these dudes that was dope. So by the time it was time for me to do my thing, I was able to record my stuff. I picked out my own beats. There was always rappers around. So the J Arms was dropping crazy. It was 9 instrumentals everywhere.
J
Arms. You know what I'm saying? So
you're the first person to mention
come
J
on.
Arms in the motherfucking podcast.
Salute
to J Arms.
But,
yo, do you know how many songs it fucking...
Right.
Yo,
you see what I'm saying? Like
J Arms.
So I had the J Arms instrumental mixtapes.
That's a fact.
I would take all of the beats that they didn't want, you know what I'm saying, and I would make songs. And at that time, we wasn't just scrap beats. So I'm like, man, I don't even know whose beat this is. Like it could, like you know what I'm saying, it could have been a Aguilar beat or something. Like who knows? But I'll just make a song to it. You know what I'm saying? And I'll Get Busy Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3 dropped, and that's when everything started to go up. You know what I'm saying? Like I started to get recognition from the radio station with BOK and started to travel and do shows, and you know what I mean. Things got a lot more interesting for me.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. We at the round table, the round motherfucking table podcast. We gotta take a quick, you know what I mean, commercial break. You know what I'm saying? We got L motherfucking Biz in the building and shit. And we about to get real into this shit, you know what I mean? We about to get into this Erie County, you know what I mean? We about to talk about this shit, but man, yo, I appreciate you, bro, coming through. You know what I mean? My brother Piffy Trillion, I'm pretty sure he got a couple quick questions for you, too. Roobxcube, my bro, I ain't forget about you over there. We still got some questions for you. So we got some minutes and shit. Shout outs to motherfucking my brother Shaft Rock in the building, really holding it down. You know what I'm saying? Really holding it down, you know what I'm saying? Shout outs to my brother motherfucking A Boogie without the hoodie. You know what I mean? But listen to hoodie. Goody.
Goody.
You know what I'm saying? Go Tide gotta go, baby. And shout outs to the you know what I mean, Fly Family, G4 Jag, you know what I mean, Rebel Radio, you know what I mean, everybody out there, motherfucking 716 Uncut, you know what I mean, everybody, you know what time it is. It's go time. Hell yeah. Let's go. Piss.
Yeah, I got pissed too.
Nigga still live.
I'm cool.
Yeah,
right.
Feel that shit.
I cut
Yeah,
it.
you cut that shit. Shout out to everybody that tuned in.
Shout out to everybody that
See
tuned
the
in.
rest of this shit later on. We're gonna come back to it. You
I
dig?
ain't even know.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That was the perfect time. Holy fuck.
Yeah. Alright, cool. I'm on my way right now.
Damn, his bringer comes in hot.
Buzzing the speaker off.